Now, look, on the energy policy, why is it hard to oppose outright and explain your opposition to Bowen's energy policy? I mean, I see Bowen as the gift that keeps on giving. He cost Bill Shorten the Prime Ministership with a tax policy that was punitive and destructive of the economy and said, if you don't like it, don't vote for us. And if you keep hammering away, he'll cost Albanese the Prime Ministership with energy policy. Now, I've raised this many times, Peter, but Bowen is talking, as you know, but I just repeat it for our viewers, a 43% reduction in carbon dioxide emissions by 2030. And he admits, now this is mind-blowing, that you'd need 22,500 watt solar panels every day for 8 years. He admits you'd need 40 7-megawatt wind turbines every month. He admits you'd need 10,000 kilometres of additional transmission lines. Opposition leader, is this bloke off his head?
Well, Alan, I mean, the only point of difference I have with you there is that you didn't go far enough back into his CV. Don't forget that he was one of the great immigration ministers of the Rudd-Gillard period that was out there with the welcome mat for people coming on boats. He was a complete disaster. He had cash for clunkers. He had all sorts of policies, fuel watch, grocery watch. And he actually believes that he's Paul Keating reincarnated. So delusional is he. And why would you want to be Paul Keating reincarnated? But anyway, lots of questions there for the next time we catch up. But on the issue of energy, it's worse than that, Alan. I mean, the mechanism that they're embracing at the moment is a carbon tax by any other name.
It is.
It's at $75 a tonne, which is 3 times the price that Julia Gillard was proposing.
This is for 215 of the biggest 200 biggest employers, biggest users in the country, and they're the biggest employers. You go on.
Well, and the biggest emitters, some of the biggest employers, and some of them are going to move offshore as a result of what the government's imposing here. So effectively what they're saying is that they want a year-on-year reduction of 4.9% in their emissions. Some of those industries, cement, for example, I think you should watch this very closely, because what we're going to see is an export of the industry, and those companies offshore, they'll set up in Southeast Asia somewhere or in another part of the world, will lose the jobs, will lose the economic productivity, and emissions will still go into the global environment. There will be no emissions reductions in net terms. And this is what Chris Bowen's latest dalliance is in relation to public policy. So
right,
there are many elements to what.
But Peter, having said that, and very, may I say, very articulate in the saying of it, why wouldn't you simply say, listen, the opposition are not going over the cliff with you lot on energy policy. We reject the lot of it.
Well, Alan, I mean, we've made the points that I've just made now very strongly in relation to the safeguard mechanism. I think it's a disaster in the making. The closing of Liddell and some of the other decisions that will have to be made over the next 12 months, I think give the real prospect of disruption to energy supply, so blackouts. Prices will continue to go up under the policies that they've got. And I think that there's a time and place for us to announce our policies. I think we're at the 9-month mark effectively of this term, and there are a lot of people who I don't think are going to be jolted into reality when it comes to energy policy until you do see, sadly, a disruption and blackouts or industry taking a decision to go offshore. So
there's no doubt about it.
There will be the appropriate time for us to make announcements about our energy policy, what we're doing. At the moment, our job is to hold a bad government to account, to point out where they're going wrong, where they're causing great difficulty and increasing difficulty for families and small businesses and medium and large-sized businesses, the big employers. Right. And we will work through our policies, make them well-known in due course, happy to talk about them at the right time. But now it's time to concentrate on what the government's doing, to call that out. Yeah. And we've made the policy announcement in relation to wanting to discuss nuclear, which is absolutely essential to have that discussion.